Hi, I'm Dave Sereno. I've had the privilege of working as lead integrator for heavy duty, light duty. I'm going to talk about those spaces here for a little bit, as well as integration of those. But first, I want to thank HED, CARB, and DGS for just an awesome RFP, the most complete document I've ever seen. When we opened up the box of pieces to this puzzle and spread them on the table, A, they were all there, and B, some of them were even kind of stuck together already. I mean, eCars was practically glued together, and we took that moving forward. A few of the things we brought to the project was rotation of the light-duty wing. We thought this had a number of advantages. Number one, it allows us to rotate those engine exhaust stacks further south onto the site. Number two, it allows us to concentrate the site and bring heavy duty in, reduce the walking distance. You know, heavy duty is a little bit the new kid on the block. You know, you're kind of sequestered at the MTA facility right now. We all know emissions in Southern California and around the world are affected by big diesels dramatically. And now to have 3 chassis cells and a couple of emission cells and all that space to operate on them is really going to put CARB at the fore of heavy duty emissions regulation. In addition to that, on the wing, we also separated the front door from the back door. The employee parking is a very nice space. The vehicle test parking is a little bit different character. You might see something like a Cat bulldozer out there with a PEMS on top of it, not the most photogenic thing. In addition, you might see some of the most prototypical cutting-edge vehicles in the advance of the new age of autonomous and hydrogen and hybrid vehicles. And so a little bit of privacy is naturally affected by rotation of that wing. The other thing we did with the wing is we moved the outside air intakes to the far west, creating maximum separation from the engine exhaust and the heat rejection of the test cells. This enhances test operations twofold: reliable and repeatable data, and a functional test because we're not recirculating heat from cell to cell. The prevailing winds allow that air to basically sweep across one parking lot, take the engine exhaust, and dump it into another parking lot. The people part of the project is more centered to the front, and outside air intakes are positioned so that re-entrainment is absolutely minimized. Moving inside the facility, one of the big things we did was rotate the control room from a longitudinal perspective to a lateral perspective. We think this greatly enhances not only operation of the test, but understanding of the test for chemists, project engineers, staff engineers, as well as students from Riverside or researchers from foreign countries. Shara and Braulio came up with a nice little power V arrangement, which is almost an unconscious welcoming factor to bring people in to that space. Yet it's designed with safety in mind. Bullet-resistant windows, sound-attenuated concrete block, and then nested pressurization from office to control room to emissions alcove to test cell. Make it very safe relative to CO and hydrocarbons. Moving up the wing towards motorcycle and heavy duty, you'll see that that power V arrangement is a theme that we've maintained. And both motorcycle ATV and heavy duty engine both open up to their respective eCars colleagues. Finally, PEMS is an area that we've addressed by shuffling around the pieces a little bit to move Johnny and his group closer to the rest of the greater body of eCars. Moving on to integration, I want to talk about it threefold. Number one, you know, our role on this, we can't wait to get started, by the way. I mean, we are going to be working with the best and the brightest. Gary, Bill, and their staff, the folks from the supplier side, and these folks are consultants. They're not vendors, and we learn from them. We think we add, you know, a quiet contributor in terms of incorporating the facility into the equipment, adherence of the specifications, and finally, the integration of energy usage with Z&E, which Paul will talk about here in a little bit. I want to make the point that, you know, we're going to maximize use of energy efficiently on this project, but not to the point of shooting ourselves in the foot relative to test measurements. We are very dedicated to reliable and repeatable test data. We've learned that the hard way, and we know that something even like a chiller back at the central utility plant can affect a NOx measurement if it's doing something fancy in terms of energy conservation, like for example cylinder unloading, when we need rock steady humidity in order to avoid repeating a test. If we repeat a test, we're wasting energy. So we're going to be very careful about that, save when we can, but use alternative techniques to get the zero net energy. Thanks so much.